Welcome to Us Podcast, where we are bringing awareness on a topic that is affecting lives in our community and society. Yet it is kept silent. That is domestic violence. This is a space for honest conversation, information shared, and where healing could take place. Today, we will be talking about indicators around abuse, warning signs, and strength to break free. Domestic violence is more common than what you think. It is not there to be gender specific, and it does not discriminate. Today in our studio, we have a very special guest, Dr. Kamesha Taylor. She will share her journey about domestic violence and now how she is living in purpose, on purpose. Remember, love should not hurt. So get comfortable, settle in, let's grow together. This is your host, Coach Pamela Watkins. Dr. Kamesha Taylor, you are my sis. I just want to tell you right now, first of all, before we dive into this dialogue, let me give you your flowers first. First of all, thank you for allowing Us Podcast to broadcast your story. We're talking about domestic violence and how love should not hurt. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for grooming me for a time as this. You have put me in spaces where I can learn from other women. You have coached me in business, and I am overjoyed to be in this space. I am so grateful that God is just like taking me into higher levels. You didn't know this, but me and Mom was talking today, and she is so proud of the fact that we are so connected. And it seemed like she stay on Facebook first and foremost. I said, girl, if you don't get off of my sister page, she loves the fact that you took me in. And she have watched the journey as well. And she's so excited. She prays every night like, Lord, let me live to see my daughter arrive. And she said, and she called you her daughter. So when you graduated and you became doctor, she said, oh, she is so beautiful and she's doctor. And I'm like, that's what she is. And so I want to say thank you just for you allowing God to use you concerning this topic that we're going to be addressing today. And so with that being said, I believe in giving you flowers where you can hear the voices of individuals praising you. So thank you for that.
You're welcome, sis. And it's such a God thing. I know our alignment it's all God. It is. And I'm just so grateful and thankful and blessed to have you as a sister. And, when you say, oh, you coached me and you did this and that, it just came so naturally. It was just like, hey, sis, I see you. I'm proud of you. Here it go. Because you already had everything in you.
Wow.
You just had to activate it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you that girl.
Come on now. I love that.
When you say a time such as this, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Today, again, it reminds me of Philippians 4:13. That's it for me. I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So, today it's phenomenal, and it's a start to something amazing. So I'm just delighted. Thank you for thinking of me to come and share my story. But I wouldn't have no other way with nobody else. So,
you're going to look, girl, now I didn't go to the Dollar Tree today because I said to myself, I said, Mom, I got to go get some tissue because, when my sister share her story, I just be like, okay. And I did my makeup today. So look here, audience, I'm telling you right now, y'all better go get y'all tissue because you're going to need it. Now, listen, before we dive into your story, because I want to allow space and time for you to walk through that. It's going to bless someone. You have a domestic violence support group that you do every month. And I love that because you creating a space for people to tell their story and to be supported and also heal. So I want to do the icebreaker that you do every month.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just do that because I like that. It gets your brain flowing. It gets the wheels turning. So tell me two qualities that you think is important when it comes to a strong relationship between couples.
So I would say that having a God-fearing man is top tier. And it also goes with leading, right? You know, we want a man to lead us to provide and protect, right?
Absolutely.
So having a man to be able to pray over you and to cover you and to handle the wars of your life. And when I say the wars, because me, I wear many hats, right?
Yeah.
And I need that. You know, I think every woman needs that. You know, if they are a believer and they believe in God, you have to have that. That's a strong part of your foundation. So it's necessary for me in my house. That's just the way it goes. So that's number one.
Yeah.
I would say number two, definitely a provider. You know, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. You know, I need somebody with some money. Okay, I like to do nice things. I like to look good. I like to smell good. So, you know, I need a provider, you know, that know more than me, that can point me in the right direction, show me something. I don't want to always be the one doing the showing, right?
Come on.
And a strong communicator. You know, I love to communicate. I'm a communicator, you know, just always love to talk, speak, you know, and to have somebody piggyback off or give you some awesome and amazing ideas is, I think that's key.
Wow.
I mean, there's several others, but for me, I would say that.
Absolutely. I jotted down three as well. I know I said two, but I love the fact that you gave three because it's really hard to narrow it down.
I know. I'm going to try to be obedient, man.
This ain't the space, girl. This is space for us to be like, well, we got to do what we do.
Yeah.
You know, but I love that you said that because you're right. It has to be God first. When I met Dr. Watkins, the first thing we asked was, first of all, do you love God? Do you go to church? That was the first thing we up at Villa Inn, girl. You know what that is. Back in the day.
Yes, ma'am. I know
Back
where
in the
it's
day,
at.
we was like, how do we sit up in this bar talking about relationship? And first thing I said is, do you love God? And he had that too. We're like one of the first things that he wanted in a relationship. So that's number one. So you're right. No brainer there. And I said trust and respect.
Yes.
If I could trust you in my vulnerable state, and I know that you're not going to harm me or use it against me, things that I confide in you, then I felt that's a good friendship that we have.
Yes.
Brewing or developing. Respect me, who I am. Don't try to re-raise me. Respect who I am. Respect my God-given talent and the direction God is going to take me in. Respect the fact that I am who I am. You know, and then like you said, all the other things. The list could keep going.
Yes.
And it could keep going on, right? So like you
Yes.
said, I think that everybody has their own, what they want, their top three, top two, top one, whatever. It varies, right? So thank you for doing that icebreaker with me because
Yes.
that is so important. It has to be God because when God is left out, we leaving ourselves vulnerable to all kind of foolishness.
I agree.
And then we can't cry about that thing because you never asked God. And you know what I thought about before? When you're young and you get in these relationships and you don't ask God about, should I date this guy? And you're doing it because, we think we got it, we know it. And all chaos happen in a relationship. And you be like, God, why?
Yeah.
And then God be like, but you never asked me, should you date that person?
Come on.
And then you be like, I'm stuck with this person, right? Like marriages.
Yep.
I went with my first marriage. I ain't asked God about none of that. But then when things start going bad, I'm like, God, get this man out of my life. And then God said, but you never asked me should he be in your life?
Yeah.
And I had to sit there and go like this, oh God, I'm sorry, right?
I know.
Girl, so yeah, I learned to do something different the second time around.
Yes, ma'am. We got to learn how to do our homework.
Homework.
Got to do that homework.
Girl, that's deep.
Sometimes we be excited. Oh, I like him. I like the outer. You know, that outer shell. That's what we like. We fall in love with. But, you know, we ain't did no research on the other side, right? Who raised this man, right? You know, how he treat his mama. You know, how he praising the Lord. Or, you know, you got to do that background check. You know what I'm saying?
Girl.
So, yeah,
So women typically miss that part.
we do.
Because, like you said, if you don't treat your mama right,
I ain't got nothing coming.
who you say ain't no conversation, you're not going to treat me right.
It's a known fact.
It's a fact.
Yes.
Ooh, that's deep. Good. Now, since we're going to get into this thing, because you was a teacher, and I love it. I want to say a couple months ago we met in our group session, and you introduced us to some material, and I thought I knew all the answers around domestic violence, because growing up you only hear that it's all about contact, physical contact. And when you introduced us to some stuff in regards to other indicators around domestic violence and the characteristics of it, I was like, what? Girl, where you learn that from? Because all my life I didn't know nothing about that. But then you made it make sense, and it's relevant today because I start paying attention to each category, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Because as time go on, new things surface, because what we knew and what our forefathers knew, you know, other things start developing as centuries go on. You know what I mean? And so I want you to kind of share with the audience what you share with our group in regards to, hey, these are different forms of domestic violence. Here's samples of what that is, so that people will know when you see this, they can identify what it is, and then they can have that option if they want to ignore it or they want to get out of it. But at least they have the information.
I so agree. And that dropped in my spirit to share, because when I went through that tragedy night, I really was so unaware about domestic violence. Okay. And I remember they wanted me to sign this form. And I remember it was a yellow sheet of paper, and I just saw the red wording, but it said domestic violence across the top. And I was like, I'm not signing that. I'm not in a domestic violence situation. And, you know, they kind of went back and forth, and they're like, ma'am, you almost lost your life tonight. Like, you're definitely in a domestic violence situation. We need you to sign this form. And I signed a form, but that made me do further research about domestic violence, because to me, all I knew was physical, you know, somebody putting their hands on you, and I knew verbal abuse, right? And so let me just go into my notes here, because I don't want to leave none of this out, because somebody needs to hear this, because I was so unaware. So physical abuse, which we all know about, that's the common denominator, right? Physical abuse is any intentional use of force that causes injury or harm. Examples: hitting, slapping, punching, kicking, strangling, or choking, even pushing or shoving. Truth be told, throwing objects, using weapons, preventing someone from leaving or seeking medical care. Physical abuse is often what people recognize first, but it's not the only form of abuse. So that's the one we know, you know, about all the time, right? The second one is emotional and psychological abuse. That comes from emotional abuse, which attacks a person's self-worth, confidence, and mental well-being. Examples include constant criticism or humiliation, name calling or insults, gaslighting. You know, that's that new word, like gaslighting. What that mean? Making someone question their reality. You know, when you question something, now they want to gaslight you and turn it on you. Threats or intimidation, blaming the victim for everything, isolating someone from their family or friends. This type of abuse can just be as damaging as physical abuse. Sexual abuse, we know about that one. That's not, you know, something that we haven't heard. Sexual abuse is any sexual activity, force, or pressure without consent, even within marriage or a relationship. So examples include forced sex or rape, sexual conception or pressure, unwanted touching, refusing protection during sex, reproductive control. That's forcing pregnancy or abortion. And then consent must always be given freely, right?
Wait, before you move on, you said something. You said marriage? In a marriage?
In a marriage.
So if I say, honey, my body is not really ready to do that, and they imposed it anyway, you're violating me. That's a form of abuse.
It is. That's why communication, hey, when we're fasting,
Yes. Give permission, the Bible said.
Yeah, you got to talk about it so everybody's on one accord.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Number 4 is financial and economic abuse. Now, that's what I was going through. Didn't even know it was a real thing. Child, let me tell you something.
Tell us about it.
Listen. So financial abuse is when someone controls another person's ability to earn, access, or use money. Okay? Examples include taking someone's paycheck, preventing them from working, running up debt in their name, controlling bank accounts, refusing to contribute financially. Financial abuse is often used to trap victims in relationships. Now that one, we got to touch on that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Listen, my situation is, when you come together, if you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, you guys have an agreement. Okay. And the agreement is whatever you set in your house. You pay this, I pay that. This is your half or my half, or you pay this 70-20, whatever.
Yeah.
Once that agreement is broken and it's continual, I can see if you're in a marriage and your wife or the husband lose the job. Okay, that's your job, for better, for worse, right?
Absolutely.
So you're supposed to hold it down till they figure it out.
Yeah.
But not when, just because they don't want to hold their agreement and it's continuous. Right. And once they see, oh, well, she can hold it down this month, well, I'm going to let her do it next month and next month and next month. And then you holding down the house. That's abuse.
It is.
It's abuse. Someone taking credit cards out your wallet.
Girl.
Without your permission, or you send them to get one thing, they got 6 other things, and they ain't said nothing. You see the statement. Where this come from?
Right.
That's abuse. That's abuse. You working and you get your check, and you ain't got your account in the negative when you get paid.
That'll send me to Milwaukee County Jail.
That's abuse.
But that's why divorces are on the high, because like you said, communication and financial is the 2 highest factors why people go to divorce court.
Yes.
You wrong for doing things like that. And you know what? Women make excuses, or men, because I'm not saying it's, because sometimes men will sit there and get a woman a check and they misuse the money too. Right. So it's not gender specific, but you're wrong for that, and then if you mention it, you might get physical abuse because you mentioning about the financial stuff.
Absolutely.
And you're wrong for that. And then they lie about it and don't want to own it. So accountability is not there either. Yeah. And like you said, Yeah. And this is a real thing in our society too.
It is.
But isn't that a silent form of abuse too? Because it's happening in the homes, and sometimes families don't know that that's happening.
It is, and they don't, and they just, it's so many reasons why people stay.
Yes,
and they realize, like, maybe in their heart, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Or how do I get out?
Yeah.
It's so many factors. If sometimes we know people that's being physically abused in a relationship.
Yes.
And we like, why do you stay? You should get out. But they probably grew up. They grew up watching their mama get beat.
That's true.
So they feel like it's okay.
Yeah, they normalize it.
Yeah. They was a product of their environment. And men too, because men get abused too, truth be told.
Oh, yes. I've seen it.
Yes. Verbally, that's physically, all the things. Yeah. And so what about the woman that maybe grew up, didn't have any parents, got with somebody, and they were the provider, they did everything, and she feel like she don't know how to start over and where to start over. I've seen that too. Oh, yeah. So when we keep talking about a time such as this, I just give God the glory, because if I had not went through that, how could I relate on the scale that I can now? You know what I mean? Through Secure Holistics.
Come on.
I got to be able to relate. I got to be able to meet these women where they are.
Come on.
So I can help them, out the situation. So,
So what happens when young women when I say young women, we got teenagers too. I know teenagers in high schools who are in these domestic violent relationship with these young boys who are in the streets and they're getting slapped around and they don't know how to say no or they're afraid to walk away. They're being stalked because they'll go home and try to hide, but then the boys be like, I'm outside your house. Or even grown women have men that be like, they outside their job. Stalking.
That's on the list.
That's on the list too.
It's on the list.
And I think people need to understand what is that, because sometimes people put their own perspective to what that is.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So it's stalking. It involves patterns of intimidation and monitoring, right? Examples include following someone, showing up uninvited, repeated unwanted calls or messages, threatening harm to the victim or their family, controlling daily activities and decisions. In this type of abuse, it creates constant fear and loss of freedom.
So when you say uninvited, shouldn't families respect the fact that if I'm done with someone who is aggressive in some shape, form, or fashion of what we have already went through, and say we have a family function, you always get that family member like, he was cool with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite him and I don't see nothing wrong. You are inviting this person in a space that should not be invited.
I agree.
You're putting me in a space where I'm revisiting fear all over again.
Trauma,
you're out of order.
All over again.
Yeah.
All over again. And you know what? I mean, just from experience, people have a hard time separating the two. Wow. You know, in their mind, like you said, well, they was cool with me. What y'all went through, it ain't got nothing cool with me. Now you gonna invite me to this individual. Now you ain't with him. You expect me not to speak to him no more? I mean, I've heard all the stories, and I've even seen it. You know what I'm saying? Because action speaks louder than words. And truth be told, sometimes the ones that you supposed to love or love you, they'll go on that side and love them more.
It happened to me.
So
it happened to me. Like where's the loyalty? I'm family. But your loyalty was with someone that I used to date. Shame. You know what I mean? And that's what, and you know, it can cause division and a wedge with family.
It does.
It's another one that I remember you speaking about, and that's digital. I'm like, what?
Yes.
What is digital abuse?
I was knee deep in it.
Really?
Yes. Didn't even know that was a real thing.
I didn't even until you told me. I'm like, what is digital?
Yes. Let me break it down.
Yeah, please.
Technology can be used to monitor, harass, or control someone. So examples include constant texting to monitor whereabouts, tracking someone's phone or car, demanding passwords, posting embarrassing content online, and threatening to share private photos. Ooh. So I really was so unaware that is, you know, a type of domestic violence.
Right.
But trust me, if you got an extra phone around your house laying around, if somebody has access to it, they can tap into your messenger. They can see your text messages, your Facebook, whatever you have on that phone. If it's still live and active, they can have access to it.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And people do that. That's like manipulation, isn't it?
Oh my God. Yes. Having your car tracked. Like I lived all that.
Oh
my car had a tracker on it. My cell phone was being,
really?
You know.
Like the device that you can put on there. That kind of tracker?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, to even where it was people that I knew. You know, she just got here. Oh, she left 20 minutes ago. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's not, oh my goodness.
Yes.
You know what? And then you be wondering why somebody always popping up where you at. You know, see, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very transparent because I believe in being transparent for the audience's sake. Now, and I told you this too. I was never physically abused, but I was verbally abused to a whole nother level, which my reaction calls physical abuse. And then I end up going to jail. I mean, so many times to the judge was like, you going to such a cheater, and that's the women prison here in Wisconsin. I know you lying. Right. I ain't going there. Well, you going to quit coming into my courtroom with the DV charges all the time. And I was always like this, like, okay, so let me go back when I was a child, and I'm from the South. So when we moved up here, my first witness to DV was a pimp slapping a woman. And my mom had moved up here. We learned how to get around Wisconsin or Milwaukee on a city bus. And so we would walk a lot. I remember us walking a lot. And I'm looking at a man slapping a woman around. And I'm trying to look. You know, my mom was like, turn your head. You know, she was like, we ain't from here. We going to mind our business. I'm still trying to see because I want to go over there and beat the man up.
Right.
Like, I ain't never seen this down south. I mean, if there was some violence happening, we didn't see it, right? So, and my mom was like, mind your business. Come on, get on this bus. And I grew up like, when I grow up, if I see a man hit my mom or anybody, I'm killing them. You know, it did something to me as a little girl. And I do remember that one time my mom had got into a relationship, because my mom stayed single for years. She just did not want no man over her daughters. But she decided didn't want to be alone no more. And she got with a guy who was an alcoholic. And he was arguing with my mom one day. And it was just an argument. And I kept hearing my mom, get off of me. You know, in my head, I went in that kitchen. And my baby sister, she was so scary, poor thing. I said, take this hammer. She was looking like, she like, take this hammer. I had this long knife, girl. It was brand new, sharp. It was this long. I knew I was going to go in that room and stab him in the back. I saw it playing because domestic violence seen it on the streets. And my mom was never going to be that chick. And I opened the door softly. That door was wide open. And my mama happened, I don't know if the guy let her look on the side. And she said, get out of here. I didn't hear her say, get out of here. I was fixated on this man's back. And my baby sister was scary, so I knew she wasn't going to hit him with that hammer.
Right.
But I needed to do what I felt I needed to do because I didn't have no brothers. I played the role of an older sister and like a brother, even though I'm not a male, but I had to be that protector. I felt like that child. And we was new here. Yeah. Fairly, you know. And my mom was like, get out of here. And he's like, she going to kill me? She going to kill me? And in my head, I was like, absolutely. I did not budge. My mom had to literally get up and give me the knife. Give me that knife. And at that point, my mom knew that relationship was over. And she never married ever again. And my mom was in her late 70s. But she just wouldn't do it because she just didn't do that. You know, and I had felt like I needed to protect my mom at all costs, all the time. And to this day, a conversation cannot take place in my mom and somebody raise their voice at my mom because that'll be a trigger for me.
Absolutely.
And so domestic violence, like you said, is real. And if people grew up or did not grow up around it or experienced it a different way, can do something to them.
Yes.
And to me, I can't take domestic violence of anybody. I don't care who you are.
Right.
You don't have to be connected to me. I can't watch a woman or a man get beat down. I can't watch it. Like, it does something to me. So like you said, bringing awareness to the world today, I think is necessary because on social media, we see it. Everywhere we turn, we see somebody being unalive. I love the fact that you have images of women, not just in Milwaukee, whose story had went viral and they have been unalived.
Yes.
And you had did this thing one time. You said, ladies, look at the pictures on the wall. And we looking at the pictures on the wall. And you said, do you know their story? A couple of them we knew, but then there were some we didn't know. And you said who they were and how they were unalived. And I thought that was really nice that you did that. And it's good that we share and bring awareness.
Yes.
And that people do not move in silo no more. And that's the first thing is awareness to healing. So with that being said, that you gave us the various indicators of it and you gave us a description of what that looks like, let's dive into your story.
All right.
Because you have a story out of this world that you share no matter what platform you in, you share that story. And I always tell you, sis, You share that story. I don't care who get tired of hearing it because somebody in the room have never heard your story.
Absolutely.
So I want to allow this space and time for you to share from wherever you want to start all the way up to the day
Okay.
that you was celebrating, and I believe it was your social lounge or whatever, and then what took place.
Okay. Let's see. So I'll start from when my son was 2.
Okay.
I had moved from Slinger to Milwaukee. I had a 2-year-old, and just fairly, I was in a relationship for we had known each other for a while, but we had been living together for about 3 years, going on 4. And I was getting ready for work, and I was looking for something in the bathroom in the drawers, you know. I don't know, it probably was my brush, or ain't no telling. So I opened up this drawer, and I'm like, I know this ain't what I thought. I mean, we don't watch New Jack City and, you know, all the things, right? So it's this one of my round, you know, glass plates that I had see-through on the counter in the bathroom that, you know, put the cute little beads on it. But you got all this white stuff, and it was the razor for me. You know, because at first it could be some powder that wasted there or whatever, but the razor, I'm like, what do we got going on here? So, you know, all the things that maybe was in the back of my mind, it started coming to the forefront. And it started making sense about what I was going through. So another factor was that my son was short enough to where he could have just went right into that drawer and had access, you know, to what was on that plate, which it was heroin. Okay. And I mean, it's one thing when you smoke weed. It's 2 things when you on crack or cocaine, but heroin, that's a whole nother demon, right?
Okay.
So with this, I just sat and I just, you know, I didn't know how to feel, right? It just made me numb because the war on drugs, just how it attacked my family, some of the men in my family, I wanted no parts of that.
Gotcha.
And so I just said, like, Lord, what have I gotten myself into? Because I ain't about that life, right? So instead of me calling my mama, because, you know, I didn't call my mama.
Right.
I called his mama. Right?
Okay.
And I confided in her what was going on, like, hey, you know, he's on heroin. Y'all gonna have to come get him because I don't want no parts of this. And, you know, her thing was, you know, you can't leave him. You know, he needs you and this and this and that. So here I am with a 2-year-old. Definitely want to give my son what I didn't have, and that was a father. You know, my whole book, my whole story, like, I seriously stayed 16 years in a domestic violence situation because I wanted to give my son what I didn't have, and that was a father. Fast forward to 20? Listen, God's will gonna be done. They say on earth as it is in heaven, right?
Come on.
I don't care what you contemplate and what you got in your mind. If it ain't in God's will, he gonna shut it down. He gonna shut it down because I was living in a bubble. You hear me?
Okay.
Like, that was my goal. Like, until my son 18, because I saw the relationship that they had. I saw how my son loved his dad.
Right.
You know, I didn't have that at all. Yeah. So I felt like that was my job and my right and my responsibility to let him have that. Yeah. Right. And, you know, through that the domestic violence, it was never physical. You know, it was never, you know, to where he talked to me in certain types of ways. It was that financial piece. Right, where I was left to do everything because he had a drug problem. You know what I mean? Or, you know, taking my credit cards and just doing what he wanted to do. Or I'm sleeping in the middle of the night tapping me for $10 for gas. Like, that's overwhelming. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I know it's somebody out there. I know there's somebody out there right now going through the same situation. Same situation. Right. And it's like the longer you stay, the more damage you create. That's what I learned for 16 years, because you got to realize, okay, now the family is loving on them. You know, the church is loving on them, the community, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because they only see what's going on the outer. They don't see what's going on in your 4 walls of your home. Yeah. But kids ain't crazy. They feel the tension. They hear what's going on, and they smarter than we know. Right. Right? And so, you know, just going through that for those 16 years, and it was always a profit. It was always a profit. that God's saying to send me a message. Because warning always comes before destruction, right?
Yeah.
And I would say like 5 years before all that happened, it was 2015. I'll never forget it. I went to a sister conference. My sister invited me because our cousin invited us. Mm-hmm. We all went. It was me. I believe my mom was there. It was 2 of my first cousins. My aunts were there. And this lady, she was like, "Are you married?" And she just started talking in tongues. And she like, "That is not the man that God got for you." And she was like, "Lock your door." Yes. I mean, she said a whole lot of other things, but I knew that was 5 years prior. I knew in my heart and my soul everything she was saying. I didn't know the part about lock your door, but I knew that he had a problem, and I knew that is not what I wanted for my life. Yeah. During that journey, I stayed on my knees praying to God. And I know God put a muzzle on my mouth, sis, because I probably wouldn't have made it out. Because sometimes a listening ear is a running mouth. Had I been calling my friend here and telling this person and that person, that would have got back to him, and I probably wouldn't have made it out.
You already know.
So when all that chaos, people was like, oh, they were so in shock because they could not believe and they did not know, and they were so unaware of what was going on. But I tried to protect him as much as I could because I wanted my family and I wanted my son to have what I didn't have, and that was a father.
So put a pin in that. When I met you, what you said, I didn't see it either. When I first came to New Restoration, you was the first person I embraced because he used to say, "Go hug your neighbor." And I saw you and him and your son every Sunday because I sat like across from y'all. And I don't know why God would have me to hug you all the time. And I was like, "God bless you." And he would shake my head like nothing. And I would just hug you because I'm like, "Oh, she's so pretty and so warm." And I'm new here. And you wasn't new there. I was. And this happened so all the time until leading up to, now go ahead and continue because you're right. I didn't see nothing. It was so perfect. I didn't know.
Listen, God has a way. When the joy of the Lord is your strength, let me start with that.
Period.
Listen, I dealt with that, and nobody saw me crying in the office. Nobody saw me crying at the gym. Nobody saw me crying at work. They never saw it. But God gave me that strength. Like, when I look back over that situation, sis, it was like you only see one set of footprints because that God carried me through all that for a time such as this. For me to be sitting here right now telling this story to somebody that might be listening, that might be going through right now, wanting to give up, don't know how to give up and give out. Don't know how to get out. Because if God can do it for me, he can do it for you too.
Y'all hear that?
Because what I went through.
Come on now.
And I mean, it was rapid. Once it started, it was rapid. Here I am. We come to church. I'm sure we look like the perfect family.
Y'all did.
People told me, "Oh, you got the house, the car, and the husband." Little did they know, inside of that house. Inside of that house. It was hell to pay. You come home for work, you work. The agreement, you help the son with the homework. I come home, I'll cook some days. It was a balance. Yeah. Sometimes I cook, sometimes he cooked. He loved the grill and all the things. And sometimes we went out to eat, cool. But you come home, half the time sick, have to stay rushed to the hospital, because that drug thing. Okay. And they want to get to the hospital to get some more morphine or whatever it is they got because they probably can't get the drugs that they need. A mess. But let me share a story. So it was so many things, when people were like, "Oh my God, like, how did we not see this?" Like, almost to the point where they didn't want to believe me. But it was so many things that happened to where people was like, "I remember that. Oh my God, yeah." One time, my best friend called me. We had this big barbecue. We had the biggest barbecues ever for the holidays. He had an amazing way of bringing our family together. Families. We had a great time. Everybody come on. I'm barbecuing. He made breakfast for people. Great times. This particular day, we was at my best friend's house for Labor Day. She called me and she said, "Friend, I was cleaning up and I found like a bag of weed, but I know it had like some dope or something on it." And I just got quiet. I just got silence because I already knew whose it was. I knew whose it was.
Right.
But when everything unraveled and we start talking about it and telling the stories, I didn't have to argue. You know, people were slandering my name all over Facebook when all that happened. I didn't get on there. I didn't clap back. I said and wrote that book.
I remember that.
I didn't say a word.
Ooh.
Because God, it says in the word that God will make your enemies your footstool. And sometimes you got to just shut your mouth and let God do the working in the building for you. And that's exactly what I did. Another time, we was at my house and we having a great time, broad daylight, sunny day. We all having a great, great time. You know how sometimes the family come and one family got to leave, so somebody got to move the car and all that. He goes to move one of the cars, boom, back right up into my cousin's car. Tow it up. Tow it up.
Oh, my goodness.
High. High as a kite. Another time, we in Chicago, I'm celebrating my birthday. My son, they driving. I get a call. Oh, it was an accident. In the business vehicle, which you ain't had no business. What you in that vehicle for today anyway?
Oh, Lord.
Done tow it up.
Oh, my goodness.
Brent, tow it up.
Ooh,
They got to
sis.
rush my son. He probably didn't have his seatbelt on. I don't know.
Oh.
Chest hit the steer, hit the dashboard. You know, so listen, I ain't have to say a word. It was so many times. Now I got to tell you the funny, because we got to get some laughter.
You already know that's how me and you get down, right?
We had state fairs, me, him, my aunt, uncle. May they rest in peace, both of them. And I love me some Patti LaBelle. I thought I was Patti today with my little red. I had the collar popped up.
Yeah, you did look like her with that on, because I think I seen her with something like that on too. Yes.
So Patti LaBelle up there, and I'm recording. My phone go dead, and I'm like, "Let me use your phone, because I gotta finish getting Patti. This is my girl, right?" Recording. Text come up. Bing. I'm tired of your ish. I ain't cuss. I said ISH. I'm tired of this, and I'm done. I'm through with you. I look at that phone. I'm like, who is this? I text back. He ain't even know. What you doing texting my husband? She said, BITCH. Is probably because he texted me first.
I read that in your book.
I knew then. I knew, how a woman's intuition, right? And when something off or whatever, but I could never catch him because he always told me he was working different hours.
Yep.
I'm thinking the man working 5 to 5, 5 to 3, man, don't start work to 8. 8 to 2, 8 to 3. So you had time to play before and after you got off work. You know what I'm saying?
You said it.
Baby, bye. So listen, I done seen it all and I done been through it all. But like I say, by the grace of God, here I am
you
smiling.
was crazy, you know that.
And
I didn't know you was crazy.
Listen,
because that particular story right there, when I read it in your book, and you were crazy. I didn't know you had it in you.
Listen,
I said, did you threaten him?
I said, if you touch this phone, I'm gonna tear it up.
You did.
Now listen. Now, he tried to be manipulative with it, right? And gonna call our pastors to have them come like that was gonna change. I'm like, you got to go. I was serious. My pastors tell me to this day, they tell us our apostle say, oh, you was pissed.
You was good. I bet
you was mad that day.
I felt it in the book. When I read that part in the book, I said, sis got that part.
Oh, yeah.
I said, I didn't know sis can get down with that.
Listen. I'm like, you got to go. Today.
You said today.
Yeah, and so, I even went to the job. I had to get about it. Like, I'm going to show you who you really dealing with. I went to the job, sis. I'm like, bring your center outside. Because it all that boiled down to, right around that time, we were going to a baby shower. My sister's son, they stay up north, up in Oshkosh. It was they baby shower. They was having their first child. And he was just irritated because he couldn't go to this company function. And I'm like, you never go to the company functions. Never. You always say you don't want to go. You ain't going. But he wanted to go on this particular time. But that woman was mad because he must have promised he's supposed to been there and he couldn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So, you start finding out all kind of stuff,
You
sis.
did.
But, man, listen.
You did.
That was something else.
Your book, I love your book. I'm always going to encourage people to read your book because I understand we can't unpack it in this setting.
Yeah.
But you painted the picture so well of what you went through, the perseverance, and then I love at the end the victory.
The victory.
And so you knew what was going on, and to endure all of that for your son's sake. Now comes the celebration, because you was always about money from the beginning of this book, and I'm reading. You always the woman that just like it's about your money. You know, you was in good positions, you held good positions, you helped others, and you was always about taking care of you. You was able to take care of you. I'm like, oh, sis, you always been about money and how to move businesses, opportunities, and things like that. So now, and I didn't know you very well then, but you know, I knew of you through other people that I worked with.
Yeah.
And so I was able to see things on social media. And so now you're getting ready to celebrate something great, right? So talk about that night of the celebration.
We were celebrating. Well, first of all, me and my husband, we were starting a food truck.
Yeah.
And everybody was excited. He loved to barbecue. I like to cook too. And we were always entertaining. The purpose of us getting the lounge, my best friend and I, was because we entertained all the time. It's like, you know what, this is the new Regal Beagle. You know, come down, you know, host your events here. That's just what we do, effortlessly.
Right.
You talking about coordinating events. You talking about putting something together. You talking about creating
Yes.
something where people can come together and have a good time and be together and love on one another in a safe environment. Oh, we got that.
Yeah.
So that's why we did that. At that time, you know, the lounge, my best friend, that's her passion. That's what she wanted. So I supported her in that. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean?
Okay.
That was her vision. And because in the back of my mind, I had already God had the vision. God had already showed me the vision for Blessed by Design.
Oh.
He gave me the name while I was at church. I wrote it, put it in my notebook, put it in my Bible. I didn't know what it was at the time and what it was for.
Gotcha.
But I already knew what I was on. So this day, we were celebrating the opening of the lounge. No, 1 year of the lounge. We were open 1 year. And we were doing the food truck. So he had family that drove from Chicago and all the things. His family was there, and everybody from our town was there. And I mean, it was such an amazing day. You know, everybody was there celebrating. We had the food, the music. I mean, it was amazing. Yeah. It was nothing short of amazing. That day, though, it was a lot of, that week was a weird week. But that day, we were getting ready to come to the party, and he just was not himself. He was walking around with his head down and his pants in his pocket, and it's like, what's wrong? You know, what's going on? And he was just a man of not too many words. And we know he was a man of plenty words and jokes, right? And good times and laughs, right? So, you know, I ignored that red flag. It was like, okay, we got to get going. Got to get the food truck down here. We got to get down here. Guests is coming. I'm trying to cross all T's, I's, make sure we got everything. I didn't know, though, because this happened somewhere around like Super Bowl time. Well, it was after Super Bowl. I'm trying to get my dates together. Here was sometime in February. I don't know. It was February, Super Bowl, all these things. I didn't know, though, leading up to that he had put a gun up to my friend's neck and was like, I'll blow your brains out. But he had a playing spirit sometimes where you didn't know if he was playing or if he was serious. Oh, wow. So my best friend, she blew it off. She didn't think nothing of it, you know, but as time went on that day, it seems like everything and everybody that was close to me, he tried to destroy. So when I knew the day got serious, was one of my friends, we call her Slim. She was helping inside, and she ran out And she was like, "You gonna pay to get my hair redone?" And I'm like, "What's going on?" Because you know she yelling. She don't even yell like that. And she was like, "He just poured water on top of my hair. It got her whole side of her hair just drenched." And I'm like, I looked, because at this point he had said, "Come here, I want to talk to you for a second." So we outside, we talking, you know, and he like, "Don't you know I know everything that go on and around in this city?" And I'm like, "What is you talking about?" So I'm brushing off like, "You chilling. We supposed to be having a good time. Like, what you on?" You know. So after she came out and, you know, her hair is wet, I'm like, that ain't in his character. I'm like, "Hey, cuz," we call her Sugar, "come here." I'm like, "Let's pray." She like, "What, cuz?" You know, because everybody in a good mood. We have. I'm like, "We need to pray right." She like, "Right now?" I'm like, "Yeah." We gather here. I know it was me, her. I can't all remember who else was in the circle, but we started praying right there in the name of Jesus.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
And we like, "Lord, I don't know what kind of cloud or what's going on, but keep us protected, keep us covered." It's like soon as we got through with that prayer, all hell broke loose in that place. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
One person, like, he just choked and off their feet. It was people running in the bathrooms. It was like 20, 30 people ran into the bathroom. They calling their people. Like, it was just crazy, because I remember after we got done talking and all that, right? And I tried to walk away. That's when he grabbed me and he pushed me and he caught me off guard where I lost my balance. So when I fell, I hit my head, hit the concrete head first. And one of his friends from Chicago saw it and was trying to get him up off of me. But at that same time, while I was down there, that's the first time I saw my life flash before my face. Because he was grabbing for the gun that was right there in his pocket.
Wow.
Couldn't even reach it. He couldn't get it.
Look at
He
God.
kept, I'm watching
Look
him.
at God.
I'm like, "What you grabbing? What you reaching for? What are you doing?" He trying to grab that gun that was in his pocket. He couldn't get it.
Come on.
Cousin got him off me. And so at this point, somebody is outside saying, "Hey, you know, one of the owners, you know, her husband got her outside on the ground." So people running out. So I remember Mo, he like, "Get in there." You know, I'm trying to go back and talk because I know this ain't his character. This ain't, you know, we ain't never had no physical altercations or nothing like that. So I run through the bar and I look back, but I see him just coming. He's still coming for me. He knocking people out the way. Ooh. And so I was going to run in the basement, and the Holy Spirit said, "Don't you go down in that basement. That's a trap." So I came back up, and his mom grabbed me like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know." And I had another arm right here, and it was Miss Blow. Blow's wife. She grabbed me, and she like, "Let's go." We ran out, and we jumped in the car. Now, when we drove off, this is when he saw my mom. Now, my mom always, her discernment is thick.
Yes.
Okay. She got some discernment like no other, but she was always saying, "I'm going to send cheaters to that job." Or, "I know all about you, Chicago, nigga."
Yeah, she said that at the group.
Listen, everything my mama was saying, though, spot on. So my mom got in her car, and he shot right through the window, head first, you know, right at her head range.
Lord Jesus.
A bullet straight through her car. Didn't even touch her.
Look at God again.
That was another time God was right there in the midst.
You already know that.
You know, and another time it was so much. I remember being by the dumpsters, and he was coming for me, and I'm still like, what is the problem? Right. You know, and he was trying to get at me, and I remember Mika, she worked in probation, and he couldn't get past her. She held him down to where I could run back. I don't know if I ran past or ran back in. And then that's when, you know, when I ran in, that's when I ran out with Blow. But it was something else.
That was a demon on him.
Oh, absolutely.
Baby,
he had a demonic spirit. I know that.
It was heavy, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you was that target, that bull eye. You get what I'm saying? Like, because his rage was so heavy.
So let me make it make sense. So,
okay.
We had been having conversations because he was like, "Well, let's go to counseling." Because at this point I had made up in my mind, like, you know what? Those drugs, that's what you love. You don't love us. You don't love this family. You're not, you know, you refuse to get the help. You know, I woke up one day and God was like, "This is enough. Today is the day that you are going to start your journey and you're going to get out of this situation.
Okay.
So my language changed, you know, and I was very adamant about what are we going to do, because in my mind, it's like, okay, I got to give my son what I didn't have. And before it was like, well, if I leave, he ain't going to love his son. He going to turn his back on him. Yeah. He going to do this, and that. But God began to show me you can co-parent. You can get out of this situation. You don't have to be here.
Right.
You don't have to go through this. You are more than enough. You know what I'm saying? You got the strength and the ability. You just got to put your foot down. And that's what happened. So I'm like, listen, we can stay here and co-have, or, you know, we could co-parent, or you can move over there to the duplex. You know, what are you going to do?
Right.
But come June, I'm out of here. Oh. And I remember clear as day. He said, well, if you leave me, what am I supposed to do? And I knew then, I was like, I done messed up. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I done created this life. And I guess it was like, you know, in my mind, you going to do what you was doing when you met me.
Okay.
Or go be with who you been with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then I was, you know, he was like, well, who you been talking to? I was like, well, I let my mama know, and I let my best friend know. So the plot twist was he started calling people to paint this picture, because he already knew he had the plans to kill me. You know, when you talk to eternal affairs after the fact, they tell you all the things that's in the phone. So that day was the Big Bang Day. So that was the day that was supposed to take me out. I'm not supposed to be sitting here talking to you right now.
Sis.
Right?
So that's what it was. He had already.
Yeah, so once he knew that I had told my mom that we were separating and the things like that, I didn't tell him that he was on drugs and all that, but he thought I told him everything.
Okay.
So then that's when he started to called our pastors. He called my best friend's mother. He started calling people. So when he killed me, his storyline adds up. And I had been told him, listen, you've been out here doing you for a long time. Now I'm finna start doing me, and I meant it. I meant it unapologetically. Okay. Now, fast forward today, okay, when we in marriages and things are not going right, as a woman, you're supposed to get out of that before you start doing you. But, baby, let me tell you, he had been doing him for a long time, them 16 years, and I just started living life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I start living
life
and not being stressed and carrying that load.
He couldn't take it.
Couldn't take it.
So that's when he started plotting.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That was the Big Bang Day. And so I just give God the glory to be sitting here today, because what he had for my bad.
So
God,
when the police came on the scene, was he shooting still?
No.
Or he didn't hear to their demand?
He wasn't even shooting when the police came on the scene. Okay. Somebody had already called and said it's a domestic violence situation. I believe it's one of the owners. A man has a gun. So he had the gun. He was waving it at the time. Because I remember it was a scene where he was at the door and he was bamming on it, and the clip, I think, fell out the gun or something. You know, it'd be so many stories. Right. But he did shoot at my mom. You know, so, I mean, so when the police come, they looking for somebody, you know, I mean, we were in danger. I mean, there's no working around that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I said, the day of, it was either going to be him or me or somebody.
Somebody, yeah.
It was somebody.
And
you know, I hate that was the, you know, be all end all. It's bittersweet, but
he already made up in his mind.
He had it made up in his mind.
So now that happened, and now you had to deal with so much. It was so much pushback, like you said, lies, untrue things said from people that weren't even there. You had to be there for your son.
Yes.
Because he wouldn't have understood the chaos that you experienced that night. And did you still have to show up as the wife and make sure arrangements was done and all that stuff? Did you have to do that, or his family had to?
I took care of all that.
Look at that.
I didn't have to, but God, right?
Yes.
I took care of it.
Look at that.
Yes, I did. I took care of it. We had a private ceremony here.
Got it.
And then he was shipped to Chicago where his family could, you know, have a ceremony as well. But
look at God. Okay. So now you already knew, okay, for my son has to do the healing process. I have to be there to help him with the healing process. your peace is being restored because you did a lot of sacrificing.
Oh, yeah.
Your peace is being restored, and God is so awesome.
He is.
Because he's no short of his promise. And so you said that you wrote down the name of what we know now as your business. How long did it take for you to be like, now you wrote, and I got it here, and I'm going to share it in audience. Your book is my book. I mean, I have this book on my nightstand, and my grandbaby, who just love you, she call you sister, but she call Auntie Lisa, your sister Auntie Lisa. And one night I was reading your book, and I was like, I got to read this one part again. And she said, Mommy, she said, that's sister book. That's sister on there. I said, this is sister's book. Yes. And, you know, she was like, I said, don't you touch sister book because you don't write in sister book. That's my book. You wrote this book shortly after that.
Yeah.
And then you created your businesses. You have a lot of businesses, sis. Talk to the audience about how God allowed you to open up businesses under that name and why that name means so much, because we're talking from catering to going on, and I'm gonna let you tell it. You go ahead and tell it, but this book right here, baby, tell them what this name, you tell them what your book is called. Go ahead and tell it, sis.
Gracefully Broken.
Woo!
Gracefully Broken, how God turned pain into purpose. And listen, that was September 2019. I'll never forget it. I wrote it in there. I was laying in that bed just crying like, God, laying in the bed. I'm like, I'm so tired. I can't do this no more. Like, you got to help me.
Yeah.
He over there asleep, and I always play my music, you know, when I go to sleep. And that Gracefully Broken by Tasha Cobbs. Wow. And it was so like, it seemed like she just shined a light on me and was just singing. Yeah. It was to my melody, to my heart posture. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, God will break you to position you. He'll break you to put you in your rightful place. But when he break you, he don't break you. When he break you, he does it with grace.
Yes, he does.
Girl, I wiped them tears from my eyes. And the download, it started from there. Like, you going to write a book. It's going to be gracefully broken. You know, I got how God turned pain into purpose, you know, as I was writing. And Blessed by Design came, I was at church, and somebody said, I think it was Pastor Ford, he was like, we are all blessed by design, you know, from God. He said something, but when he said that, I had already had Blessed by Design in my book. I had wrote it down. And I'm like, blessed by design, because God is the designer. And he gave me that. We are blessed by design. God makes us all blessed by design.
Come on now.
And I was like, yeah.
That's dope.
Blessed by design. And so when I wrote the book, that was through COVID. That was my healing right there. You know how it's like, when you go through something, it's okay to visit it, but don't stay there too long.
That's it.
And I wrote that book, and when I tell you, it was so much confirmation and healing and crying and shedding the tears when I was done, I felt like I was healed. I feel like God healed me, because when I talk about the strength that he gave me, sis, that day when everything happened, the next day I was numb. But day number 2, you know how they say, joy comes in the morning. Weeping may endure for a night. Joy come in the morning.
Come on.
Listen.
Come on.
It wasn't nothing but God that did that for me. And I mean, he gave me some strength that was so strong. People had to like pinch me like, what happened? Like, what you say? But that's you right here, right now, doing X, Y, and Z. You can talk about your story, or people will be like, oh, I'm sorry to bring that up. I didn't, and it's like, say what you gotta say.
You sure do, though.
He just gave me the strength to endure. Could nobody do it but him? Nobody. It was like business as usual the next day. Wow. The next day.
Wow.
I ain't had a sleepless night. I ain't had a bad dream.
Come on now.
Nothing. I think maybe on leap year, that was what, 4 years later? Because it happened on a leap year.
Gotcha.
I was like, it kind of like hit me like, wow. But it was more so gratitude. Like, God, you did it for me. Why me?
Come on.
Because I see these women, like, they losing their life. Just like that all over the world. That's why I follow. And I watch the stories.
Yes.
That's how I got the vision. I already know God saved my life.
Ooh.
To create secure holistics.
Love it.
To help women in domestic violence situations. To help them get out. Because everything starts in the mind. Your mind has to shift when you in that situation. And I saw how God shifted my mind to get me out. It was all a mind shift. Once my mind was made up, my body followed, my spirit followed, everything.
Girl.
Everything. So he gave me the tools and the knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding to help another woman's mind shift. And I've been seeing that ever since. Secure has been 2022. I talk to people, and you know, when we get into that thriver and survivor circle, it takes time for them to get into the room. I do a lot of the back end work over the phone.
Okay.
You know, and in person, one-on-ones.
Yes.
You know, when they mind shift, then you see them come to the room.
Oh, okay.
You know, so, you know, with our survivor and thriver circle, people be like, oh, well, if I wasn't in a domestic violence situation, you know, that ain't for me. It is for you because we doing a lot of holding each other accountable. We talking about goals. You know,
we talk about a lot.
We talk about a lot.
We really do.
You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just how, you know, I just never thought in a million years, like, you couldn't have told me 10 years ago that I was going to write a book. That wasn't on my bucket list.
Not on your bucket list?
No.
But you got other businesses too, though.
I do, but I'm just saying,
so
like,
which
even
one
the boutique
pulls at your heart? Now, I don't talk about the boutique.
I know, but I'm saying, though, like, how... That wasn't nothing but God. The book, the boutique, Secure Holistics, you know, just that platform. To just like the boutique. He gave me that to make women feel beautiful and confident from the inside out. Because you got women in domestic violence situations where that man tell them, don't nobody want you but me. You fat or you black or you ugly or you
something. Okay.
You know, you're too skinny, you're too bright.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So he gave me that vision. You're going to help women feel beautiful. I get so many women that say, I only wear black.
That's
I
me.
can't wear no
that
colors.
was me.
Yeah.
Before I met you,
I
that
wear
was
brown
me.
or black. I can't wear these colors. I can't wear this, that, or the other.
That was me.
And he's helped me transform so many women into this bright flower. You know, when they come in now, they like, girl, what you got, pink or purple? I need some color. I don't want no black. Now it's like, look at God. You can't tell me what he won't do.
But you know what? Speaking to the boutique, because you have done all of that. You transform me. But you know what? I could speak to when I put on clothes from the boutique, I transform in my mind. I feel so beautiful.
Yes.
If I have a bad day, I'm going into my closet. I have a Blessed by Design closet.
Period.
So I separated my clothes. And Richard could tell you, this is all Kamesha stuff. And then everything else that I buy, maybe wherever, offline or something, that's another closet, right?
Yeah.
But if I feel like doing Kamesha and I go out and work at my job at Children's Court, when I tell you, baby, people are like, oh my gosh, well, matter of fact, I came into the studio and they was like, I really love what you have on. Yeah, thank you. I love your shirt. Oh, this is Blessed by Design right here.
Yeah.
You know, but I tell you, ever since I met you and you dressed me for my anniversary and you just been rocking me ever since, it just make you feel good because I did come from a place of low self-esteem. I like quality. I like to be jazzy. I like to be sexy.
Yes.
I like to be classy. I like all of that. And you definitely have something for every woman that walks into that boutique.
Yes.
And that's why I asked you one time, I said, sis, between the boutique and holistic, which one pulls at your heart? And,
Both. Both of them. Because Secure Holistics, people don't even know that Blessed by Design, Secure Holistics, and the 7 pillars,
Ooh,
like
we're gonna
Sisters
talk
in
about
Success.
that. Mm-hmm.
Sisters in Success, that comes from our Sister Support Hood group. That's a pillar.
Yeah.
You know, when we do brunch to the backyard, that's stress relief travel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we do the Survivor and Thriver Circle, you know, prayer and
Yeah, we
counseling and therapy
Yep.
and, you know, all
Housing.
those things. All of that is all about those pillars.
Yep.
I've been operating in it because I was talking to God. I'm like, it took me so long to get Secure Holistics off of the ground. But you know, the devil didn't want that to come to fruition.
Right.
When I throw a date out there, sis, you already know.
You do execute.
Phew,
You definitely execute.
we getting it done. And I had got another prophecy in 2022.
I remember hearing that lady.
And she was like, you've been asking yourself, I don't know if this is the right time to do it. I don't know if I should do it like this. She said, God said, do it exactly how he showed you the first time. And that was them 7 pillars. And people try to tell me, don't do 7. You should narrow it down to 3. I'm like, in my mind, listen, I know what God said. If they can read 3, they can read 7.
Baby, and them 7 are powerful.
It is. That's the number of completion.
One-stop shop is what I call it.
Yes.
Because, baby, when you put that housing and education and all those other services up in there, and the trainings and all that stuff, I said, look here, you ain't got to go no further.
You ain't got to go no further.
And I love that the fact that you do that. And that's why I'm going to make sure that the link is in this episode, because people need other areas of services
and
too.
other outlets.
Because
Yes.
domestic violence, when you're a victim, you're stripped in a lot of areas.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've learned being a part of your team is that you can be restored in a lot of areas.
Yes.
And you don't have to look no further.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about it.
Yes.
I'm glad you're sharing. And I am so glad that you letting people know when God got your back, baby, no devil in hell can stop the process.
Ain't nothing that nobody can do about it.
And
You
that
hear
when
me?
God said you're going to live in purpose, on purpose,
Come on now.
no devil in hell can stop it.
Nothing you can
And
do
so
about it.
I love how you always tell women in the room, wherever you speak or wherever you sponsor an event, you always tell people you live on purpose.
Yes, live in purpose.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's big.
Got to find out your why.
Find out your why.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know how when I did the Sisters of Success, you let people know I would never move with women that don't celebrate other women.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important.
Yes, it is.
Because you're a type of person, you are not a mean-spirit person.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know how anybody could just like be mean-spirited to you, because you always want women to win.
Yes.
And I love that, because
Yes.
that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way I think
is.
it's supposed to be, like that, because if you are about that, there's no limit what God can do for you.
None. It's about collaboration over competition. You already know that. That's me
What
and
you
my
say
sis
about
Ava.
You know that? Yeah. And then this is my line that I stole from you, because I say it all the time. You said the new currency is what? Networking? Networking relationships
is the new
currency. That's
Yes,
it. That's
it
it.
is.
And I said, sis, I love that. And it is.
It is.
It is really, people think it's the money,
it
It's
ain't.
not your money, baby. It's the
relationship.
relationship.
Yes.
That's
it
so
is.
important
It
nowadays.
is, because you can meet one person that can help boss up your life. They can put you in the right room. They can give you the right idea. They can give you the right support. So I love bringing women together. I absolutely love it. I love sisterhood. Okay.
You said, did you put
STAR.
that sister?
Yeah,
to
my
it?
sis Lillian gave me that. Nurse L, she
I
gave
love
me that
it. I love
sister,
it.
and I
I
fell in
love
love with it.
her.
I'm like, I just want you to know that's gonna be my new word. She like sis roll on with it. But yeah, because I love sisterhood. It's just amazing, and just so we could get together and trust one another, because a lot of women, they don't trust each other.
It was
I
hard
was
for
just
me.
talking to my sis Melissa about that.
Mhm.
And that's why I said Sisters in Success, we're gonna kick that off.
Yeah.
at the MOM synopsis, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be huge for Sisters in Success, you know, and just our day to kick off, or you know how the rest of the year is going to look.
Absolutely.
But it's just been amazing. Our sisterhood is just so
I
dope.
love our
I thank God for our alignment,
sisterhoods.
you know,
Yes.
and yeah, like you know, we move with integrity. We
Yeah.
want to see each other
Sure.
win. I mean, as far as I know, I don't see no jealous bones in nobody's body. We there
No.
to celebrate,
Yeah.
clap. How can we support, push, hold you to your goals?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I
And we don't
wouldn't
see
trade
each
it.
other that much, but we love each other as though we
Absolutely.
ain't never missed a beat.
Absolutely.
Because that's the way we supposed to be.
Yes.
Because this is what we do. We want each other to win, and we love each other. So with that being said, sis, I want you to give the audience like some final words of encouragement, because we know that's what you do. And I thank you again just for sharing your journey. And I know this is going to bless some women,
Yes.
maybe young, old, in between. It's definitely going to bless them to move forward. And so give them some word of encouragement.
All right. Well, for those who are watching, I want you to know that domestic violence, it survives in silence, right? And the moment you speak up is when you start to live. And you're supposed to live and not die. If God did it for me, he can do it for you too. The longer you wait, the longer you let that snowball effect happen, the harder it is to get out. So you have to find individuals who you trust. There are resources and places that can help you get out. I don't care what you're going through, what you might be experiencing. Don't let nobody tell you you weak, that you crazy, because domestic violence does not have a name on it. But you can get out and do it safely. There are so many things that God can do to help restore your life. If you in a relationship and that man been taking care of you and you ain't never had a job, you can start over. We have a program that will provide training and resources, interviewing, all the way down to the close. We can help you. If you being abused, maybe you grew up seeing your mom be abused and you thought it was okay. And to the men too. It might be a man being abused as well. That is not your journey. That is not your life. Nobody's head is supposed to get pounded on.
Yeah.
That's not a real thing. That's not love. Don't let nobody tell you or twist your arms and tell you that. And make sure y'all secure them phones because, listen, digital domestic violence is real. And if you in a relationship or even if you in a marriage, come on now, and them agreements are being broken and they're being abused, you are in a domestic violence situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we welcome you to come to our Thriver and Survivor Circle where we help survivors become thrivers. And we do it every fourth Sunday, 1 p.m., 5161 North Hopkins Street. But we welcome you with open arms. And I'm just amazing about what God is doing, what he's going to continue to do. And just how he just brought me out. You know, I feel like I've been set free. I thank him. I praise him. I lift him up. You know, I used to question like, God, why me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you saved a wretch like me. But hey, if not me, then who?
He's in a saving business.
Yes, he is. And so I'm just so thankful. I'm just thankful for it all.
Amen.
I'm thankful for it all.
Sure.
So what would you say is like if you had to give like a piece of advice for like women, like how you said, staying too long?
Yes.
What would you say is like one of the like main like points that they need to like overcome in their mind to get out of that long term relationship, even if it's not like how you said abuse, but you know a lot of them stay for lack of self worth.
Yes.
You know, it could be somebody that's like
Yeah, they have to make up in their mind that they are more than enough, that they are worthy, that they deserve whatever their heart desires. Because sometimes we get with individuals and, you know, we with the representative. And then when the real person comes out, you got to stop ignoring the signs. You know, those red flags and the signs, they are there for a reason. They are not to be ignored. I ignored them. Every last one of them.
Every last one.
I
We do.
ignored them.
We do. Yeah.
And you got to pay attention to the signs, all right? And you got to act quickly on the signs because the more you stay,
Yeah.
you become complacent and you get comfortable. Some women be in a bubble, some people become numb to the situation.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very, very important that you notice it and you get out.
That's it.
Especially when you notice it fresh in a relationship. That's your exit, sis. That's your exit, brother. Don't try to stay or work it out or say, hey, you know what, they can change, or let me give it a little bit of time. Sometimes once you see them signs, especially when it's physical and verbal abuse and things like that, you see somebody stealing from you, cut it.
And don't think that it's gonna get better.
Run.
It's gonna get better. Right? Wait on change.
Yeah.
That never comes.
Yeah. And sometimes individuals are naive. Sometimes I was naive in situations. And I know how my heart is set up, and sometimes your heart posture is like, I'm gonna give him a chance, or I'm gonna stick it out. Or I'm gonna nope.
Now that we have ended our conversation for today, remember, domestic violence is not a private issue. It affects lives and people in our community every day. Listen, awareness is the first step towards change. An open conversation is also breaks the silence. So, if you know anyone that is struggling with domestic violence or in need of support, I encourage you to click the link below and be blessed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this episode. This podcast was produced by Voss Visuals Media in collaboration with Us Podcasts. For more information, click the link below.